Hi everyone. So yeah, it's Thursday. Blasphemy. I'm doing a video on Thursday. What's going on? No, but I actually thought about what to do with the Age of Reason show, and I realized that the best thing is probably to do a review thing. So it's gonna be me reviewing some kind of article, or of course talking about memes. That's okay too. So today, before we start, I just want to promote my book over here. Beyond the Obscure. Get it, please. The links are in the description. You'll help me a lot. Recently, I also started working on Fiverr, and I'm providing voiceovers in English, Russian, and French. I also do 3D art, and I use DAZ Studio for that. Now, I used to use Poser, but Poser, I don't know, I might be wrong, of course. I just didn't really follow it much. But in my opinion, Poser is not as good. I think it's good to train yourself to learn the basics, but DAZ Studio is far superior in terms of rendering and things like that. If you need anything, do ask. So I'm a filmmaker, of course, indie stuff, as indie as you can get, really. Low budget, no budget sometimes, very small crew, but usually what happens is that in that case the projects are more artistic. They get a bit better. So anyway, I made a couple of films. Some of them are in film festivals, and they win awards. This year has been a bit dry, but last year was pretty good. So I put all my shorts into the wheel, and basically wherever it falls, we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna talk about it. So let's see what the Wheel of Fortune shows today. And I can't click on it because it's the wrong window. I should probably click on the right window. Ooh, Human Stain. Okay, all right. Well, that's a music video. At least we'll get that out of the way, because the rest are actually short films. This is the only music video in the list, so okay. The point of this project, just before we watch it, was to do well, two things really: a green screen thing and After Effects. So the green screen, I wish I had a picture. I lived in one room before in Canada, and the room itself looked big at first, but once you start putting the bed there and a desk in the corner, then it gets smaller quickly. Yeah, 2009, we made the video, but the song, I think, is maybe 2007 then, or something like that. This was the old Kamelot, before Roy Khan left the band. The room was pretty small. We had to put a green screen there, but the space where we could shoot was actually very, very limited. The other challenge, of course, is After Effects. I never really worked with After Effects before, but I wanted to do something. The point to doing these projects is to try something new every time. Of course, I was using their video, the band's video, as a reference, and I think it also starts in the cemetery, if I'm not wrong. Of course, theirs is much better made, but again, I was trying to experiment here. So what you see here, cheers for the volume check. What we're seeing here is basically layers of course, the background layer, but there are two rows of gravestones, and then the statue. So these are all separate layers. And the layers themselves here, the statue and the gravestones, were made in Poser. So back then I was using Poser, which is, by the way, another test I was doing here, because I was trying to incorporate 3D elements into a real, real life situation. If we have a forest scene, I did a pan. So for that you need a pretty big picture, so you can pan the picture. If it's small picture, you can't pan because you're just gonna go into a basically out of frame, into black, so that's not good. If you look at it, of course, she's actually, the piano is set on 2 chairs, but I cut off the edge of both chairs, so it looks really kind of weird stuff. There's a face in the tree there behind, in case you missed it.
See the cemetery sky, the common red and deep. Watch the oceans rising high. It's a human state. Talk about the growing hunger. Ask why with deep concern. Don't you think the human race is ceaselessly vain?
I was actually having a real hard time with this intro because the rest, as you'll see, is pretty animated. There's a lot of stuff going on, but here I had a hard time to come up with any kind of story, so I just reused the cemetery and the forest thing, and again here it's basically 3D layers of animation, so the gravestones are a 3D element. That's getting a little bit more animated here already. We have the shot up the building. That was, I think, from a tutorial from Video Copilot. I really recommend that website if you want to learn After Effects. I mean, I use it as a reference quite a lot. And this shot, I'm not exactly sure that there are. I don't like the ground is 2 layers, because to show the depth is 1 layer, and then you overlay one layer, so it makes a kind of plane that you can stand on. And the river itself, I can do better. Now I know a plugin which is far better than using this. This is a default preset, if I remember correctly, in After Effects. It's some kind of just animation preset, and the logs, I'm probably sure it's just a picture, 3 pictures. I kind of cropped them and they're floating by. This shot I really like. This is one of the best, definitely. So it's a street shot. We have the clock in the background. It's going to be used in a second, you'll see. And there's a little bit of camera shake there. And of course the cars passing by. That was a little bit difficult, but not too much. It's basically just a car. You rotoscope it, I think. That's the right word. And the only difficult part was to make them stay on the road, because if you just make them go into the Z distance, which is the element of depth, they actually kind of go away from the road. So you just have to make sure that the final keyframe is on the right spot and not somewhere weird, like it crashes into a building or something. We definitely don't want the cars crashing into a building. This shot is another one I really liked here, and that was pretty challenging. I don't even remember how exactly I did it. I think I might have used many gear elements or something, and the clock actually in the background, if you look at the time going around, there's a After Effects expression there which timed it perfectly. So every time it reaches 1 hour, it takes a certain amount of time for the minutes arrow to pass by, but the next hour it's the exact same amount of minutes, obviously, it takes. So that's an expression. I had to calculate that. It's not too difficult, but it's a bit of math anyway.
Another clock, the sound of life itself. No one really wants to die. Save the world. Tell me that you told us from how we failed to learn.
The idea here was to travel from scene to scene. You have to find a dynamic way to do that. So, for example, we go from the rooftop, which would be near the clock mechanism. We go down into the church area, and then we go outside of the church, but it's still kind of one area. We just need to keep moving.
Wish you were born again, just for a minute, just for a minute.
It's the hand. Look, I not a good actor. I totally admit it. Voice acting I can do, but in terms of real acting, I can't. So I had to really come up with some stuff to do, and so I figured out, well, using the hand, something with the hand movement could be interesting here. So that's what I went with.
The ticking that could tear us under, the beating from a heart of stone, the loss of your divine prosperity.
First of all, that kind of rotation shot of the gravestone, that's also made in Poser. It's a scene completely composed in Poser. So you basically have to render the whole animation. Again, it's all about the little movement. I was trying to imitate the original singer when he does the tick and talk. I noticed actually now watching it that the audio is a little bit out of sync. Definitely could have done better. Well, I could do better today, of course.
'Cause it costs to be alive, my fool. And this life that someone merely gave to you, that's the price you pay.
So then we go to the final shot here, and basically what I did is I have a pier. That's a picture. That's just a picture. As you can see, it has actually many kind of holes in there. I honestly don't remember cutting every hole out, so it's probably a luma key. So a luma key, you can set it to key out the brightest parts. So for example, if it's bright water on the edge there, but the rest is actually quite dark, so the wood is quite dark, the luma key would cut out the bright parts, so it would just leave these holes, which I want here. The water here is interesting because I used the tsunami effect. And the tsunami, what it does is actually it creates artificial water in After Effects. It's a very, very good effect. And the cool thing about it is that you can also do underwater with it. So there's a preset there where you can basically control the camera level, so you can actually put the camera underground. So, I mean underwater. So if you're doing some kind of, I don't know, underwater stuff, then that's the effect for you. And of course it adds the reflection into the water. So it's all kind of part of the package. Boom, it zooms out. We have the same shot from the beginning. Anyway, so that's the music video. Yeah, good stuff. Lots of After Effects work in it. I went to the official forum of the band, and I asked them if it was okay to post on YouTube, because of course YouTube is going to do this copyright claim thing, and they said it's okay. So there is no copyright claim on the YouTube clip at all. Okay, so this is a short film called Nightmare. For now, anyway, this is a film made by my friend James. So me and James worked a lot in film school. This was made already way after I left Canada, though. It was just by himself. Well, the first thing I have to say here, obviously, well, I'm guessing it's winter. I live in Japan, and in Japan we don't get too much snow. I think there was only one, well, okay, two winters where there was snow. One winter in particular where there was a lot of snow, and that was surprising. But it's very rare. I'm not This winter. I'm not expecting any because it seems that the temperatures are way higher than usual. So this type of snow falling shot with the light at night, it's almost always going to be a winner. It's just a great shot. It's easy to shoot. You got this lens flare going. It's just great. So one time when it was snowing outside, I actually just I'm like, okay, I gotta get it at night. So I grabbed the camera, I went outside, and I just shot some stuff. So obviously, I know how this is done. It's just you put the camera there, you leave it there, and then later you accelerate. But just in this particular shot, I wonder how long it took. I mean, how long the sample was. Oh, it was time lapse. Oh, okay. You see, so I don't actually have time lapse in my camera, so I can't do that. I think the iPhone has it, but it's obviously iPhone quality. No matter how people want to twist the iPhone, it is not to make proper movies. It's to have fun, yeah, but come on, it's like it's a phone, a game thing. It's it's too many functions in the same device. There was something playing, some kind of video playing, and now it's not. But I'm guessing that this shows a passage of time because obviously now the guy is asleep, so that would make sense. I know like people are gonna crucify me for that. Of course, I know who Alfred Hitchcock is. I've seen like some shots, but I've never actually watched a Hitchcock film. The reason for that is I don't know. I have a really hard time watching like older things. When I say older things, it's probably past the 80s. There are some late 70s films I will watch still, but not more than that. I don't know. It's not for me. Just like superhero films are really not for me. I just don't understand what's so amazing about them. This knife coming. I think it was this shower scene or something, and it was probably a murder in the shower. Anyway, don't ask me the title. Yeah, it could be Psycho. I don't know. I know also there's a remake of Psycho. I haven't seen that either, by the way. I like when the dagger was slightly pushed in. There was like this reaction from the character sleeping on the couch. That was just well edited. Again, it's quite well edited. Very Silent Hill like, I have to say. Reminds me of Pyramid Head a little bit. So in the beginning we saw a shot which was actually pointing in a different direction, and I think it's important for composition. Composition is not taught in film schools at all. When I went to film school, there was not even one class on on scene, or I don't know what to say, like frame composition, I should say. It shows a kind of beginning and an end, which is pretty cool. Well, I know there might be more, so I'm looking forward to more. This is very, that's what I'm saying. This is like really indie stuff, but I like it. There's more stuff as you saw on that wheel at the beginning. It's just longer, so I'm gonna do it on another day. This is just part one of the series. If you'd like to check out my works, please go to the Frozen Frame Productions website. There's a lot of stuff there. I keep adding stuff, but recently I'm just kind of focusing on other things, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, go check the website. There's a lot of stuff there, indie stuff, as indie as it gets.